Hey, I'm Joy, otter marine, chain smoker, truth teller, and your host of Pandora's Box. Around here, we curse like sailors, cry like toddlers, and heal like fucking warriors. This is your safe space to say the weird thing because life's not G rated. I've lived through divorce, addiction, grief, and caregiving, and I'm still here, and so are you. Whether you're driving home or hiding in the bathroom from your kids or just trying to feel anything, you're not alone. Open the box, let the truth out, and let's sail through this shit together. All right, so this fucking episode is really close to my fucking heart. As you can tell, I have on a Santa hat. Fun factoid, before I worked from home, I'd always wear Santa hats in every job that I've ever had, in my life. I would somehow always wear a fucking Santa hat. I worked in a small box retailer where I was a manager for about 16 years, and then when I relocated to Minnesota, I worked at a bank, hat, um, and then now that I work from home, I really don't wear those anymore. I really should, truthfully. And we're stepping into my mom's favorite holiday. And this year I'm doing Christmas differently. As all of you know, I always talk about eras because it's funny because it's taken me so long to finally understand who I am and most importantly, where I want to go. So I'm calling this my champagne wishes and oracle dreams era. The era where I finally give myself permission to breathe, to slow down, to choose presence over presence. This year I'm honoring my mom by breaking traditional patterns that kept me exhausted, emotionally spread thin. Because what is the point of this beautiful holiday if you're too drained to enjoy it? This is the year I stopped sacrificing myself to build a movement for everyone else. All right, let's get into it. Before we do that, no, I'm not drinking Coca Cola. I'm actually drinking Winter Spice Cranberry. And no, I'm not getting any money from Sprite either. First sip vibes. I will tell you, I really didn't like this until, I don't know, last winter. And I was dying of thirst, and where I was at, there was not one damn Coke in this store. Come to find out it was Pepsi products. But somehow Sprite came in. I don't even know who Sprite technically is brand they're with. I don't know. And the fine print's too small for me to see. Gosh darn it, my nose always itches. So, my mom. This is her favorite holiday. And I think it's fitting. And I already know that tears will come. So we're in this shit together. My mom was diagnosed with dementia. She was diagnosed right about the time my grandma got sick. And ultimately, she passed away. My grandma was an amazing woman, kind of like my mom. Those two ladies together were the tag team of the family. They were the rock of Gibraltar, if you will. They were the ones that would chain smoke. That's probably where I got it from. And drink an obscene amount of fucking coffee and chit chat about every fucking thing under the sun. One time, I remember, they got into a heated debate about China and the administration at the time, and I can't remember what China was doing, but somehow they got into this debate that led into a family story, which I will not talk about that today. But I am going to talk about my mom. My mom, as I said, got diagnosed a couple years before she passed, and it was around the time my grandma passed away. My grandma passed away September 11th, 2023. That day, I did speak about it briefly, was very weird. My mom was about 7 months into her diagnosis, and I moved in with my brother and his wife and his children, and we stayed downstairs in his basement, converted into a downstairs living entertainment room. And we had two beds, two twin beds. My mom was closest to the bathroom, and then I was closest to their sliding glass door. And that night was very weird. It was like the cosmos were saying stuff inadvertently, and my mom was very agitated. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll never forget this. And my mom had this thing that I told you about. Fun factoid, my brother still does it. It's called cricketing. I didn't even know what it was. I had to look it up. And it's where you rub your feet together, and it makes this, I got a twitch, this noise, and it sounds like sandpaper if your feet are not groomed. You don't get no pedicures. And she kept getting up and doing that, like, every 5 minutes, and that noise at that time was very annoying to me. And now I'd give anything to hear it again. Whew. Anyhow, I'm okay. And I can see it playing in my mind's eye. And she keeps looking around and she says to me, "Joy?" And I'm pretending I'm asleep. In reality, I'm not. I'm annoyed. Really fucking annoyed. Because I had to work the next day and take care of her. I will be okay. And she says, "Joy, is Mama here?" I said, "No." And she said, "Are you sure?" Mom. And I said, "Mom." I said, "Why are you yelling for Mama?" "'Cause she's here, Joy. Mom's here. She just got done telling me something, how much she loves me, and how everything will be okay." And I said, Mama's in the nursing home. Mom, you were downstairs in Dave and April's basement. Sorry for saying your name. Says, "Forgive me." She said, "No, Joy, you don't understand. She was here." And I said, "Mom, go back to bed. I gotta get up in the morning." I'm just so annoyed, so fucking annoyed. So she lays back down and she goes to sleep. Within 2 hours, the phone rings. It's my aunt. "Joy, honey, Mama's gone." And I could hear in her voice, she didn't run away from the nursing home. Mom passed away. And I've told you before, I'm actually named after my grandma. And her legacy lives on through me. Kooky as I am, I need a drink. I'm sorry. Before that day, this was her favorite holiday. Not necessarily today. Today is actually the 3rd of December. I'm actually doing it today because for some reason, I, and I don't know why, my voice wanted to speak about this today. And so that's why I'm coming to you today and not Saturday. My brother and I, when we had to take our mom down for her mom's funeral, that was a very long drive. And I'll be honest, I was driving and I have no memory really of it. I just remember it was long. And we get to uh, a celebration of life, and my mom is smiling. Oh, God, I can see it. And she is having the best time of her life. And then she got really sick. Really, really sick. Not only did she have dementia, she had cirrhosis, and it was non alcoholic cirrhosis. And she had to take lactulose, and she hated it. Because she'd always say, imagine shitting your pants at 67, 68 years old. So anyhow, she was in the hospital for about 2.5 weeks, and I took time off of work, and I was working remotely. And I would go see her every day, and I'd be at the hospital. And then fast forward, we had to put her in the nursing home. And so here we are now in 2024. Someday I will take you through that whole journey, but I can't do it today. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize it was going to be this hard. Just so happens last year, my work, we had a door contest for what I do. And I was so proud of my door because it had a Santa. And my mom's love of Santa came because of my sister. She always called Santa Ho Ho. And my mom always spoke about Santa, and that's where the Santa hat comes from. Because my sister, who I told you passed from acute myelodysplastic leukemia, always called Santa as Ho Ho. And so I was so excited because I brought Ho Ho to my door. And it wasn't anything spectacular. It was a red velvet. I had ribbon that I made like a bow, and I had this really cute Santa bow. And then I had like a couple other things that it's Santa. And when you walked into my apartment, I've always wanted a Macy's theme where you just look and you're like, oh my God, this is so cool. But I don't like to spend a lot of money. I'm very frugal, even though I do have a shopping addiction. Uh, I shop too way too much, but that's a different story for a different day. Kind of goes in with my theme though. And I can remember my mom, my aunt, my uncle's wife, hit me up through Facebook Messenger, and she says, "Your mom wants to talk to you." And I said, "Oh, good. I can't wait." And I said, "Mom, you're never gonna guess what I did." Now, to keep in mind, I don't know if I mentioned this or not before, I put my tree up. I'm not shitting you. Middle of October, and then I had a lot of death around the holidays, so forgive me. And then I take it down immediately the same day of Christmas. Actually, Christmas Eve, because my dad passed away the day after Christmas. But anyhow, and so my mom is on the line and my aunt's holding the phone because my mom's hand sometimes didn't work, kind of like her legs. And that was because she was losing memory. And most importantly, the body hand movement memory. And she says, well, that's exactly how she looked. Like she was so excited. She was just gasping and just full of excitement, laying there. She wore a blue button-down shirt that I can see, and her eyes are big, and they're so excited, childlike. Oh, I need another drink. Oh my gosh! And she says, "Joy, joy," and she's just talking really loudly. I love it. You did such a beautiful door. I love it. And for some reason, I screenshotted that of her exact moment when I showed her the door, and that I will be able to keep with me forever. Trigger warning. I warned everybody that this was going to be hard. And if you are experiencing loss, I'm right there with you. So a few weeks, not even that, that actually took place in November. And I called my brother probably a week after that conversation. And I said, I think we're going to have to go home, back home to Iowa. And he says, I know. Yep, Dave, I think this will be her last Christmas. And he says, you're right. Then I said, we need to make this one the best one. And he said, you're right. And I said, what do you want to buy her? And by this time, she was pretty much in a wheelchair. And she was talking to my dad, who's been gone since 2009. Her mom, by this time, my grandma was gone for a year. So we sucked it up. And even though we now know that that was her last Christmas. So the drive down there to Iowa, I swear that trip takes 75 million years. And every time we would stop and get gas, or at that point, I smoked in my car. I didn't have my car that I have now. I had a little Ford Escape, and it uh it had a lot of chain smoking episodes, probably cartons, truly, because I had that car for a couple of years before I got the one that I drive now. And so I can remember we're about the outskirts of where I came from, Bedford, Iowa. And I was like, Dave, we got to make this the best. And he said, yes, I know. So we bought her a CD player, boombox, comfortable clothes, because by then she was having a very hard time putting on her own clothes. Um, yeah. and a bunch of other stuff that my mom was always into the most weird, exotic things. And we bought pretty much what we thought she would want. And I said to Dave, I'm wearing a fucking hat. And I'm wearing my Grinch Christmas hat. And I said, I wore this Grinch Christmas outfit on purpose because my mom thought that we were not going to be there. And we didn't tell her. We did tell my uncle and my family that lives down there, but we didn't tell her. So here I come walking into the nursing home, and all the nursing staff down there, they knew me because my grandma ultimately lived there and she actually died at the nursing home. So they all knew me. And my grandpa, everybody, they're all excited. And I walk in, and one of the nurses got really smiled. She's like, does Pam know? I said, no, my mom does not know. I'm like, is she awake? Yeah, I think she is. So here they moved her because my mom would get up and she would fall and she'd get lost in her own room. So here I am walking down this corridor. She was very close to the nurse's station. And I'm trying so hard to fake it because something inside me told me that this would be the last time that my brother and I would be able to share her favorite holiday with her. So her door's open and I peek around the corner and I'm like, where in the hell is she? And I could hear her cussing in the bathroom. And she said, that's it. Fucking that's it. You're constantly always doing shit. Now I got shit down my legs and you're not even taking care of me. What the fuck are you two up to? And what she was pissed about is because the simple fact when she had the lactulose, it came very quickly, the diarrhea did. If this is a trigger warning, if you have a sensitive stomach, I advise you to stop listening now. One thing I made a commitment to that I will always say the weird thing, and I'm saying it fucking loud. So I'm like, oh dear God, this poor CNA and this nurse are getting their ass handed to her. I need to go in there. So I had my hat on. I wore this fucking like Christmas light up necklace that would blink. And so I got into a very good vibe. And I literally, one thing that we learned as children is this, you either nut up or you shut up. You fucking, when you gotta put the show on, you gotta fucking act. And you don't stop until you get the mission done. That's how we were raised. So, and still to this day, I have a bad habit of even when I'm sad, I'm upset, I will fucking show up and I will blow up. That's just who I am. But I am getting better. I'm learning as I go. So here I am. I'm doing one of these bouncy moves. I'm trying to get my vibe going. I'm like dancing and I'm dancing all this way into her room. And I do one of these numbers and I peek around the door and exactly what my hat just did. Imagine this being a Grinch hat. I should have wore the fucking Grinch hat. And I said, hey. And she looked at me and she was like, Joy? And that face that she had that day that she saw my Christmas store, she had it on her face. And so I'm like, yeah, we're here. So we get all excited. She's like, I'm like, Mom, do you want to do Christmas now or do you want to wait? Blah, 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 blah. She's like, no, let's visit. So we visit. The very next day we come back and we have dinner with her. And we ordered it out. We brought it to her. She was so excited. So fucking excited. Because one thing she said about the nursing home food, it fucking sucked. Like, my mom never cussed a whole lot until she got... That's why I say that's probably the coolest mom I had is when she had dementia. And for those of you who are impacted or impact is the wrong word because I will tell you the truest thing you can honestly say is when somebody speaks their truth and they don't care because that's all they know. And the reason why I'm kicking the episode off with such a powerful, impactful story is because All I've ever known my whole life is you give, give, and give. You keep giving until there's nothing left. So this time that I really changed my mind on what this Christmas is going to look like was February 7th, 2025, when my mom lost her battle. And I made a commitment to myself that this year is going to be different for me. And I'm actually going to be telling people how I feel instead of buying them. Every year, I have this tendency to overindulge. I don't have children. We've established this. And yes, someday I will go down that rabbit hole. But this is not today, is not the time. So I have three nieces. I have a godchild. And then, of course, I have my family and I have my friends. And every year, I don't care if I'm broke, literally counting pennies. Okay, I've never been that broke in a very long time, besides when I was divorced. I always overgave, always. If somebody said they wanted I was about ready to give away a present that I bought this year, a purse, I would buy the most top of the line just because I could. Could I afford it? Fuck no. That's the reason why I have Amazon cards and credit cards and all this other bull crap, but I do save money for Christmas. And then I was like, why? Why? Why do I do that? It was because I will be honest, I've been a people pleaser. And that's something I'm outgrowing, luckily. And then I was worried about the reactions when somebody would open a gift that I gave and it would not be what they had expected or the label wasn't great. I talked about thrifting. Like, I love thrifting. Today at work, I had to go to the office and I was meeting with the office manager and another gal. And they're like, oh my gosh, I like your coat. I'm like, yeah, I got it thrifting. I said, it's like and the lady, the office manager said, that's like a $400 coat. And I'm like, really? I got it for $30. And I lifted up my arm and I'm like, see, I need to get it sewed, but I don't know where to go. And they're like, hey, go here. Sorry, squirrel moment. And so if I could, and it's weird if you were to give someone a thrifted item, but no, it's not. No, it's not. It's actually sustainable. It's actually smart. So I was like, this year's going to be different. And another thing that I always did is no matter how perfect the gift was, I always felt like I was empty. But it actually happened on my couch when I finally had that moment of clarity. This isn't love. This is burnout wrapped in a ribbon. This is going to be an excessively long, because all these pauses. I'm very, very sorry because I'm about ready to go down memory lane again. I do apologize. And I'm not going to listen. Normally I listen to my podcasts because I get geeked out. This one, I don't think I can. So yeah, I don't even know. I'm really emotional right now. My mom, her love was endless. Her love was, you know how, or maybe you don't. I'll use a dog because I love dogs. When you get a new puppy and the puppy's so excited and it's jumping around and it's actually pees on your carpet. And then you have to go, no, no. And then you're like, oh, but you're so cute with those little doughy eyes. That was my mom. That's how she showed love. Her laughter, it was more of a cackle. Her joy, and yes, that was a pun intended. And her most importantly, her spirit. And that is the reason why this year is shifting for me. Now, this intro took a long time, and I do apologize. And it's going to get better. Trust me. This episode, I am calling The Last Cinderella Tree for multitude of reasons. Because this is the year I finally transformed my holiday the way Cinderella transformed her life. Not through magic, but through truth. This year, I've stopped waiting for someone to help me decorate my fucking tree. Stop waiting for a partner to share my moment with. Stop waiting for permission to enjoy my life. This year, I'm putting the Santa hat on myself every damn day in December if I feel like it. Because the gift isn't the fucking tree. The gift is me showing up for myself. And this is the last year. I call it my Cinderella tree. because I no longer am waiting for the fairy tale moment. I'm finally fucking living it. So, the year that I've had thus far, I was really contemplating maybe I should not do Christmas this year. Maybe I shouldn't even wear my fucking hats. Like, I literally had a weird out moment. I actually lost them, probably on purpose. My closet in my office holds my mom's ashes. And it just so fucking happened. It was right by my mom's ashes. And no, I have not put them in the little urn that I have yet. I still can't. And maybe I'll never be able to. But that made me realize it's time that I create my own tradition. And that is what I'm doing. Called my brother. I called my sister-in-law and I said, "Hey, look, this year I'm giving out gifts. Yes, and I'm not going to break my bank. I'm giving it to my nieces. I'm going to buy my goddaughter something and my grandpa." And I said, "I will tell everyone that if you want a gift, it's me. It's you. It's all of us. It's the times we spend together, the cherished memories and moments. That's the gift." It's kind of like the Grinch. That's the reason why I like the Grinch so much. Oh, holy shite, Batman. Sorry. Wow, it's a lot of it's been a hard one. I will tell you this. And so I was like, you know what? People want to say whatever they want about me, but I am a gift. You're a gift, as I stated. And the reason why this hit me so fucking hard is this. Let's face it. This is the first year without my mom, and she was a gift, and I didn't have to buy it. She gave it willingly. She gave her love willingly. And yes, when we were children, oh dear God, I told you about that Montgomery Ward catalog where we circled every fucking thing we ever wanted, and guess what? My dad and my mom broke their asses to give it to us. Granted, my dad, back in the day, he was a welder. He was also in carpentry, tool belt thing, I know. And when you're making, I think my dad was making back in the 80s around $30 an hour. We lived like fucking kings and queens. I can remember one time he actually had $1,000 bill. That's probably where I became obsessed with money. My brother calls me Mr. Krabs. But when I was a kid, that's what the expectation was. Buy, 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 buy. If you love me, buy me something. If you want to be with me, buy me something. And then as an adult, watching my mom slowly pass, gosh, was I fucking wrong. It's not about boxes, bags. It's not about Pandora, but it is. Or I've always wanted a blue box. Now I hear you could buy it at TJ Maxx. So I will probably end up getting a blue box that's Tiffany's. Oh God, Tiffany's. Sidebar, squirrel moment. When we went to Hawaii, oh dear Lord, where we were staying at, there was a Tiffany's. I didn't go inside, but you bet your fucking ass. I took a fucking selfie with the Tiffany's building. There was an armed guard as you walked in. I didn't go in, but God darn it, I should have, because can you imagine the smell? Oh, like heaven. I digress. So that's when I realized it's like my mom gave her whole life to only be at the point where she was so fucking excited, not about the Christmas gifts we got her, about us, the people, my brother and I. That's what was her best gift that year. You know, the sad thing is when we came back to after she passed, and I'm gonna try not to cry. We walked into her room, and all her stuff was there, obviously. And she never got to listen to that boombox. She didn't even know how to figure it out. The clothes she did wear, because she really liked them because they were soft. The other stuff we bought her, she didn't touch either. I ultimately gave it to her friend. Her name was Anne, and Anne took it, and she was happy with it. But again, my mom realized something that I never did until this year. Price tags don't mean anything. Beautiful packages don't mean nothing. Wonderful bows, because I love bows, don't mean anything. It's the person you're giving it to. And that's when I realized it's time that I show up the right way. And how it connects to my mom is because that's how she always did it. Yes, she did buy gifts before she got, dementia and then cirrhosis. She was always a really good gift giver. And then the best gift she ever gave us was when she was at her best. And that was the last 2 years of her life. It was just time. And time is the most precious gift we have. So that's when it hit me that I need to have my own holiday tradition. And you know what? I feel lighter, warmer, and more intentional this year than I ever have. I do not have a desire. I am not counting down the minutes, the seconds to get rid of that fucking tree in my living room. This is the first fucking year. I look at it at night and I'm in awe. God, I like that fucking tree. And that's because that tree, even though it's fake, the ornaments, the Santa hats, it brings me to my mom and the season that she loved the most. So the lesson that I have learned this year, I am breaking the fucking pattern, the generational one, the emotional one, the financial one, most importantly, the pattern of overgiving because you don't feel like you're enough. The pattern of overspending to fill a void that gifts cannot fill. The pattern of trying to fix family wounds by handing out bags of presents. Like, ho ho. I'm not doing this year, this year at all. This is a year of heartfelt, not hard on myself. Now let that fucking sink in while I get another drink. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, this is so good. So fucking good. And I love straws. Like, I'm obsessed with straws. But anywho, this is a year that gifts don't come from a store, but from my fucking soul. Christmas isn't a single day. Love isn't a single gift. And joy isn't a single moment. This year, I am choosing joy every single day and not just December 25th. I no longer feel like everything has to be perfect, where everything has to have a beautiful bow and stories being told under a snow globe or holly. I don't feel the need to be perfect anymore. And most importantly, I don't need to bankrupt myself to prove I love people. I need to be present in the moment, rested in my soul, peaceful in my heart, and honest. This podcast, since I've been doing it since September 23rd, has been my outlet, my joy, my peace, and my becoming. And the hardest thing to do is when you're mourning, because that doesn't have a time stamp. You're not going to magically wake up and be, oh, I'm fine. Here I am. It is 6:45. I'm happy. Oh, because I thought I was okay doing this podcast tonight. In reality, it brought a lot of emotional scars up that I share with all of you. And I trust all of you. And my gift to all of you this year is this: love who you can when you can, give what you can, share the moments with those who you love the most, smile at a stranger, hug a friend, call your family, but most importantly, take care of you. So as you listen, just fucking remember, you don't need to have it all figured out. Just lace up, light up, and keep moving. The journey is rough, the waves are high, but this sailor's got your fucking back. Say the weird thing. Say it fucking loud. Come back next week. This is Pandora's Box, and I'm just fucking joy. Just remember, you are the hope left inside the box. Till next time.